What's going on, everybody? We're about to review a video of Eckhart Tolle. We'll go how to start taking responsibility for your life on 8/18/2023. So August 18th, 2023. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it.
Do we resign ourselves to the loss, or should we take action to bring new forms of abundance into being?
Sorry, please subscribe to my channel. We're going to be reviewing a Eckhart Tolle video.
Again, the question may refer to you, so I cannot question you directly here. Maybe you lost possessions, money, whatever, and the question is, do we resign ourselves to the loss, or should we take action to bring new forms of abundance into being? Well, you can resign yourself. It's not a question of either or.
And he's exactly right. So the problem is like a lot of people think they have to renounce stuff, give up stuff. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about detaching yourself from that stuff so you can still have a girlfriend, a nice car, you could have millions of dollars. Now, it does take a special mind necessarily to use it, like utilize it good, but nonetheless, most people aren't there. Most people don't have millions of dollars. So the thing is, so Buddhists and people who follow a spiritual path always, or just they get real radical. They believe you have to drop everything. Even religions, they want you to drop certain things. No sex before marriage. They don't want you to eat pork. They want females to cover up the veils. And there's all stuff, spiritual stuff intertwined in this that they're not telling you about. Does it matter? No, not really. It can matter if it matters to you, but the thing is not really, because these people like the Buddhist monks, and they give up all this stuff, some of them are forcing it, for one, and two, the only difference between enlightenment when it comes down to it and a non-enlightened person is a enlightened person can smoke weed, he can drink alcohol, he can do heroin, he can go on dates, he can go swim, he can go naked, he can show off almost in the most utterest respect, but he's not attached to whatever happens. He could make a hit song and everyone hates it. He doesn't care. The person that it's all about suffering. It's really about suffering. The person who's suffering is not recognizing that they're suffering. And once they are, then they're on the doorway to end their suffering. Life is suffering. Our whole existence is suffering. The whole reason why we're here on this planet is to end our suffering. We're here because we suffer. Sorry that was a lot, but to really clear it up.
Whether or not you create more of the same, whatever it is, if you lost a house.
And that's exactly what he's going to say, too. I haven't watched this video. I really haven't.
Whether you work to have another house, or if you lost investments, whether you work hard to create the same again, or whether you no longer are interested in doing that. In any case, resigning yourself to the loss applies in any case. If you don't do that, then you suffer, and then you build up negativity, and then the action you take is then based on negative reaction, and you can work very hard, and perhaps you'll recreate the same abundance, but it's not pleasant. So acceptance of what is always comes first, and then you're free to go on from there. Acceptance of loss, that's what is. Nothing is permanent in this world. It consists of gain and loss. Sooner or later, you have to let go. Acceptance comes.
And that's exactly what I said. Acceptance, as he just said. And he's very right. Definitely right.
First, and then there's a choice. If you enjoy the creation of abundant forms, whatever you do, why not carry on doing it? And very quickly you will probably create the same abundance.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. So, if you lose your job or possessions, if you really become still in the moment, you'll actually even do something greater or something that's more meaningful.
If you don't enjoy the doing, if the doing is only a means to an end because you need the money, you want to have the psychological security of money, you still haven't learned that it doesn't really work, then you just go through the same cycle again. And you won't be happy. You'll be compulsively working hard, trying to get your money back. So it's a question of, step one is acceptance of what is, because it is. Step two is you listen within and see what it is that wants to be done.
Okay. Yeah,
Perhaps you...
all the answers are always going to come from inside you. Even if someone's guiding you, you're eventually going to be left by yourself. Let's just say someone teaches you how to lay bricks. Eventually, you're going to be laying your own bricks, and you're going to be following your own intuition. That person's not going to hold your hand throughout the whole thing. And to be most certain, most people don't hold your hand for shit. In fact,
you worked for
if you'll learn things faster, if you go into it, even with the flow mentality, but more so getting into the flow with it, not thinking about it, everything you do is always in the same flow state. Everything. That's why people who are good at like one thing and they know about it, like somewhat they know about it, they can go into other things. So like, for example, if I was to go on a surfboard, I know it's going to be fucking wobbly. And I know you're going to have to act light, and you're going to have to just be there. You're not going to want to think about it because it's going to make it heavier, and you're going to second guess it. So feeling it, feeling the wave and feeling the ride is going to make you simultaneously be one with the ride. And that's not just, that's with every moment in life. That is with every moment in life, every sequence. The uttermost godly thing you could do is be in that flow state because you're not thinking.
20 years, built up something, lost it. Do you want to work on another 20 years or even 10 years or 10 years? If you enjoy it, yes, why not?
So a very simplistic thing, if you enjoy it, why not? Idiots do things they don't like because for some reason they force themselves or trap themselves thinking they need to do stuff they don't like. Or maybe they've been forced to think that way.
The important question in whatever you do is what I'm doing primarily a means to an end, or is it primarily an end in itself? If it's an end in itself, means as I do what I do, there is an enjoyment there, there is an aliveness there. Yes, I know what I want to achieve.
That aliveness will be a feeling. If it feels dead, then you shouldn't do it. A lot of people mix this up with thoughts and feelings in their head, because thoughts will create emotions, which emotions turn into subpar feelings that aren't necessarily real. The thought generates some nostalgia, some feeling, but it's not necessarily true. There's something deeper than that, and that's what he's talking about. It's an aliveness. That's the greatest way to say how something is. It's alive. You're either alive or dead.
So that's why I'm saying primarily a means to an end, or primarily an end in itself. If your doing is not primarily an end in itself, then there's lack of enjoyment and lack of harmonious doing, and that's unconscious. And it makes you unhappy, basically, even if you...
So, you could be doing something you don't like unconsciously, and when you do something, and you could go do something else, and it could be more conscious work for you, and that would be the better choice. And it's probably going to be something you like doing. Just how it happens to the correspondence.
Don't know it. Many unconscious people are unhappy, and they are so unconscious they don't even know that they're unhappy, but because it's their normal state. Isn't everybody else the same? So that applies to whatever you do, not just going beyond this particular question. You have to be vigilant to see if your actions, any given moment, even simple things, running errands, things you do every day, you need to be vigilant to see whether they are no more than a means to an end, in which case you are not present in what you do.
So, to do big things, it's ironic because you have to start with little things. If you build a house, what he's saying is you have to focus on the first board, the first dig. You want everything to be from this place because it builds the rest of the foundation. So to do something big, ultimately you're going to do a bunch of small things. So everything you do in your life, no matter how small, is very important if you do it consciously.
You're probably impatient or stressed or complaining, would rather be somewhere else. As the car sticker says, the bumper stickers you have that say things like, I'd rather be fishing. And if your mindset is, I'd rather be, even when you're fishing, you won't be happy for very long, and then very quickly you'd rather be sitting in your car, driving somewhere exciting. So taking responsibility for your life is taking responsibility for how you perform your actions, what you do. And if most of your actions are means to an end, your whole life is of low quality. It lacks presence, and you're always looking out for the next moment which you think is going to be better. When it comes, is unfortunately only the present moment, which is never good enough. That's low quality life. The quality of your life, the way in which I use the term, is deeper than the conventional use of the term, or it's good to have the term at all, quality of life, because it implies that what determines the value of your life is not quantity, it's not how much you consume, how many things you own, or whatever, how many people you control in your job or your whatever. It's not quantity that determines the value of your life, it's quality. So in the conventional term, I'm glad that this term exists, it means how you whether you enjoy, whether you can go to have quality time with another human being, which means attention, quality activities where you're not just working all the time but doing other things. They have the quality of life for cities. Every year they have a list, I don't remember who publishes it or how they determine it, but it's an attempt to determine how pleasant it is to live or how unpleasant it is to live in a particular city. Many factors contribute to that. So that's a good thing, but the way in which I use quality goes even beyond that. Or it is connected somehow, but it goes...
That's just propaganda of what places are the best, because then they're just going to have, it's going to be more expensive to live there pretty much. That would be the reasoning they would do that. But I guess it's interesting to know.
It goes deeper. You can live in a city that's very low on the life quality list and lead a life of the highest quality. Which means...
That's usually how it is. That's usually how it is. Being born a prince, you're never going to know what it's like to be at the bottom. If you're born rich, you're not going to have to go through the experiences of someone poor. It can be detrimental for someone poor to be rich, and it can just consume their ego, because now they're like, oh, I'm rich. Oh, what am I going to do now? And they have to carry this personality that they're a bad boy, as in a sense like they've been through so much struggles in their life.
As you do what you do, you are giving it full attention, knowing that yes, I'm doing this because that I need to get there and there. You know what the end is that you want to achieve, but your primary concern is the doing, the smallest thing, and then your life is of high quality. Every action has a certain aliveness and presence to it. It's not stressed. It's not done with reluctance. It's not done with impatience. It's not done with irritation. All this, can't you see how that lowers the quality of your life, all those things? But it's so normal.
And he's right about that. And he's right about that. So the more you have less resistance in your body, more so not giving a shit, not caring, but you're not you're not thinking about this, though you can, and you're not implementing this. It's just happening naturally. A kid, he's gonna go up to a flower, just say a baby boy, a toddler. He's just gonna go up and play with the flower. He doesn't care who's looking at him, who's staring. Now, I will say you can't be a grown adult and you can't go do some things naturally because the way society's set up. So, like, for existence, if you go into the aisle, a kid, you'll see this all the time, a real happy kid in a store, a storefront, a marketplace, they'll be like, woohoo, you know, they'll be like very happy, super expressive. They'll be jumping around. They might shout. They might screech. And if a human did that, they'd be like, "What's going on with him?" And some people would be like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" But really, he's just acting his nature. As long as he's not harming anybody. And yeah. So society will have some imprint on you, unfortunately, but you can still take matters into your own hand and go through. You're just being conscious at that point.
But you can do the same thing. Why bring all that to the action, the irritation, the stress, the dislike, the impatience, the complaining? Why?
That's going to lower your quality of life. It's going to create stress. You're going to die faster. You're going to age more. Yeah, that's more of a horizontal energy. It weighs on the mind. It's very dense. And when you have the least resistance, which is no resistance, and you're just being, you're not thinking about acting like a kid. You're not thinking about this or that. You're just being like a baby. Conscious baby.
What purpose does it? It has no real purpose, except it strengthens your false sense of self. Oh.
It's like wearing a mask, but you think you are the mask. You think you are the person who you think you are. And that's going to be devastating because that person can always die. In fact, as soon as you forget about that person, it dies.
So you can see you have a choice. You can do the same. Even if you do nothing to change your life on the external level, let's say everything that you've been doing so far, you carry on doing it, but you bring a completely different, you take out all the resistance patterns from what you've been doing. You take out all the complaining and the wanting to be somewhere else and the irritation and the impatience and the...
He looks so serious right now. Maybe he's a little tired. But I'm a little tired too. I just thought that was funny.
Stress. So you're still doing exactly the same, and yet your life is completely transformed on the inside. An amazing thing. On the outside, at first, nothing has changed. You still do exactly the same.
Okay, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you want to make a donation to me through Cash App, it's SnapCrackleFizzle. SnapCrackleFizzle, it's the same as my username. That helps me make videos like this and spread this info to people. And I'm not getting paid off of YouTube for this yet. And I'm not going to probably get paid for these type of videos, which I wouldn't make these videos to get paid for because they're copyrighted. So have a nice one.